What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Want to apologize about yesterday not getting a video out. We kind of got caught up with the snowstorm. I'm sure everyone else did as well. We are going to get back on track here with this Hendrickson nymph. So this is a size 12 jig hook, some off-brand hook. It's a 3.8 millimeter, 5/32 slotted tungsten bead. Got some partridge on here, rabbit antron dubbing, an epoxy wing case as well. Super simple little fly. It's going to be great for anything, pre-hatch for the Hendrickson or anything mayfly in that size range. I was watching some videos with Tim Flagler and the fellow there from Mad River Outfitters, and they were tying some of these up. So I wanted to give this a go. Pretty standard, jig mayfly nymph, and this is going to catch a ton of fish. All right, so we'll pop that out of there, and we'll get this hook prepped up. I'm going to be doing that off camera. My fingers are a little too wonky, and the camera's way too close to the vise for me to get kind of everything in there. It's just I gotta figure out the right way to do it and make it look visually pleasing. All right, now that we got that propped up and in the vise, we're going to add some 010 wire. This may be 015 wire, but that's all the wire I got currently. I've been looking around for my bigger wire, can't find it. We're going to get that mashed up behind the bead there. Try not to make too much of a mess of it. And that's basically not for extra weight, really, but just to keep that big bead in spot. It's tungsten, so that's where most of the weight's coming from on this. We're going to lock that in. We're using 6/0 dark olive thread. Just lock that all the way in. Bring it back to the bend of the hook. And we will snip away any of this tag end that we got coming off of there. All right, next material we're using is going to be Hungarian partridge, just some of the white lotted feathers that got the barring on them. We're going to use this entire feather. The first bit that I'm working on right now is going to be just taking off the tip here, and that's what we're going to be using for the tail fibers. I would say there's probably 15 of them. All right, so we're going to grab those. Kind of know where I want them. I do like a short tail. We're going to get a loose wrap there and collect everything on top. And we're going to make a couple threads back towards the bend there. Get those kind of splayed out a little bit. Just collect those in. All right, we'll pick up the end, cut that right off. You can see it basically ended right where the lead ended, and it's going to help us build that taper a little bit more evenly. Next material we're going to be throwing in here is some 28 gauge wire. Probably go a little smaller on the wire, but this is what we had out right now. Looks pretty good on this fly. And here's just a quick peek at, the tip of that. We stripped a few of the fibers back so that we could cut a little triangle into the tip of that feather so we can use that up once we're ready. All right, so we're going to stick the wire right into the slot of that bead and capture that in. Really just holds it in there for you really good. And then when we're wrapping this wire on, we're going to come to the back side of the hook and tie that all the way back to those tail fibers. So that when we go to start wrapping this, it doesn't pinch down. If you wrapped over the top, it could pinch down those fibers. So we're going to wrap it down and around, and tying it on the back side of the hook is going to avoid us capturing and pushing down any of those tail fibers and making it look weird. All right, this next material is going to be pheasant tail. we're going to take maybe 15 of those fibers, which seems like quite a bit, but it honestly isn't. Um, these fibers tend to get mushed up on small hooks like this, so I like to use quite a few more than I wouldn't want just like 5 or 6 of them because you wouldn't see them once you pulled them nice and tight over as a wing case. So I corded up the thread a little bit. I'm trying to do my best to put it on this side, our side of the hook, so that when I put tension over it, it will pull it over to the top and onto the other side even a little bit, so that we have even distribution of those fibers. And then we're going to wrap that all the way to the back, right up to where we started that tail. Catch in all the rest of those fibers, use that to help you build the bulk some more and the taper. And the next material is going to be an Antron rabbit dubbing, and it's like kind of like a dark brown gray mix. Grab a little bit of that, and we're going to start getting that ready on the thread. Get a little dubbing noodle. Doesn't have to be super perfect or anything like that. This is a fairly buggy fly with the dubbing on it, and we're going to make our first little section of dubbing here. Trying to thin it out just a little bit so we can terminate that here at the end. All right, now we're going to pull over this wing case. Starting on my side of the hook and letting it kind of pull itself towards the top. Got pretty good coverage there, but I can kind of see through it. That's with 15 fibers, so you grab the ends and pull them up, and they all start touching again. And that's probably not the most necessary thing to have that back there, but it does kind of, it kind of keeps everything together on the top of the fly back there. So that's nice and secured in, and now we're going to add that variation, that little color hot spot in there, which you actually do see on the naturals. It goes from a dark color to a light color and then back to a dark color, and basically the rest of it is all wing case and head and legs. So we're going to get this going. Tighten that up just a little bit more and go right over the top because we want it to be all the way through. You don't need to cover up the top of this. On the naturals, it looks this way where it's got a band of lighter color in it. Just cleaning up some of the loose stuff there. So we've got that color in there and it's all locked in. We're going to get a couple wraps in front here and we're going to go straight back to that gray-brown dubbing. Get this twisted on, make a nice little noodle. And this is a pretty sizable noodle. We're trying to build some taper here and get some bulk towards the front. We're going to fill that in, and we're going to grab just a little bit more so we can fill behind the bead there and make sure that that's all nice and covered. Just a little bit more to get behind there. Next is going to be our wire coming up. This is going to help hold down, that wing case in the back, all the rest of those fibers. Give us a nice rib going through the dubbing. Get 3 behind, 2 in front, 5 total usually. Fly this size. A couple wraps in front, a couple wraps behind. I snip them off and just bend that tag upward in the same direction I was wrapping it, and then I can just tie right over that little bit of tag that was right there. I'm gonna make sure that wing case looks decent, and now we're gonna move on to putting some legs on this with the rest of the partridge that we had. Gotta locate where I put it. right, so we took a few extra fibers off. We want maybe like 5 to 8 legs on each side. And we're going to take that and we're going to pinch it in. We're going to eyeball it and see if we like the length of the legs. Pinch them in kind of pointing downward. We're going to take a loose wrap over the top and pull straight down. Another one over the top here, kind of loose to start, and then we pull straight down. That looks pretty good. And we'll mess with these legs a little bit, just make sure they're where we want them. They're both the same length. Sometimes these fibers aren't exactly the same length. You got to like pull one side or push one side. Just make sure everything's straightened up and they're basically, all pointing down and not intruding with the top of the fly where the wing case is going to go. I'll spend a little bit of time on this, just make sure it looks good. Now we're going to push this wing case over. Grab it with our outside hand and just pop a couple wraps on that. 2 wraps on it, 2 wraps in front. We'll call it 3. And come in right with the curve of that hook and start snipping those fibers down. Try to get as many as you can. You don't want to leave a bunch of stuff. You will cover it up with thread here with a couple of wraps, but I also don't want to do 1,000 wraps right now. Made a little collar for it right there. Straighten that hook back out. Throw a whip finish. We'll cinch that down. Cut our thread off. And now we are going to add some epoxy to this wing case. I like to use my thumb to make sure it's mushed down a little bit and spread it out evenly. Just kind of checking all the proportions here. Everything's looking pretty good. Pull out those legs a little bit. These legs are a little bit long for this fly, but I actually don't mind it like that. I think it's better than when they're too short and you can't even really tell they're there. So we're using Loon Thick UV resin. It's a little bit clogged up. Try to center this so you guys can see what we're doing as well. Some people go thin first and get like a little, hard bit down. But I just kind of do like an outline with this micro tip, this really fine tip. And then I just kind of fill it through the middle and drag it around with that tip, making sure that it gets onto the bead and all the edges of that wing case. And it accentuates the wing case really well and just kind of makes it look like a lot bigger than what we actually made it. Makes it really durable as well. So that's that. We're going to grab our torch here, make sure that we get this thing set up really quick before it starts moving around on us. We'll give that maybe 10 seconds of some UV light to cure up. All right, we got that all cured up. I think that's going to finish off this fly here. And like I was saying, this is going to be a Hendrickson nymph, but this could be any mayfly nymph. A lot of them do have like difference in color variation, or you could just change the color entirely, change the size of it, and just make this as a nice little mayfly jig nymph and catch some fish with it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Comment down below some flies that you want to see us tie, maybe like something that you like to fish or something that you haven't fished before or don't have. I think we're going to do a bunch of saltwater flies too for a buddy who's going on a trip this winter. So we'll have a bunch of different saltwater flies, maybe some shrimp and stuff, some different kind of crustaceans. So we're going to tie up some cool stuff. And thanks for watching. Peace.